Hello and welcome to this edition of the Time with Hime podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Cordes, joined by Superintendent Hime. Hello, sir. How are you?
Here we are right at fall break.
I know, and we get a week off this time.
Yep. Weather's been nice. Get this rain out of the way. It looks like fall break will be great. A lot of exciting things going on over fall break. Number one.
That we have, hopefully, some rest and relaxation going
on.
Yes.
But
we have a great celebration to start.
Our MacArthur ladies
volleyball team
is in the state tournament. It'll be played in Verdigris Monday and Tuesday. Hopefully they can do well. We'd love to bring home a state championship.
We're confident in your ladies. Yep. We are. They're doing amazing.
So hopefully with it being fall break and time is, I mean, like all of us, we've made schedules, but hopefully I can get up there and watch. I enjoy going to events, and obviously my calendar is pretty clear because it's fall break except for personal activities, so I may just tie it in and slide by there and watch them. Hopefully we can get a lot of people up there to watch.
We're rooting for them, for sure. Let's give the COVID update before we get into some more district business.
It's just awesome. You know, there was an article in the paper today where Oklahoma did a research, and it showed that schools who have mask mandates, the numbers are better than schools who don't. And right now, I believe my last glance, and I know you're the one that updates the page. Appreciate you and your staff for keeping that updated so you'd have the exact numbers. I believe we had one staff member and 13 students maybe at this time. Man, that's awesome. You're talking about 1 in 1,000. We have the total people, students and staff workers, we have over 15,014 positives at this time. So our numbers are very exciting where we're at, active cases. And obviously, people say, I've had a lot of people, are we going to stick with this mask mandate? Are we going to stick with it? In talking to the health department, they recommend with fall break, a week apart, and people traveling, then we got the Thanksgiving break, and then we have Christmas break, that we work to keep the mask mandate and practice as much as we can and push really hard and see where we're at in January. And when we get back from January, we get to middle of January, if those numbers don't spike again, then we can start talking about the things we could do to be more normal. Although we do have the opt-out and things, but shout out to our parents and our staff that are supporting that mandate and how much wearing masks and the things we're doing, because there's a lot of work going on in being conscious or doing things with fidelity is to make those numbers get down like that.
And just to note, Freedom Elementary, which is located on Fort Sill, is a little different. They have to follow the federal guidelines. So the opt-out doesn't
the opt-out doesn't work for them, and if we relax what we're doing, they're still, they got to follow what the military says.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Federal property.
Correct. Now, to move on, we have a deadline today of October 15th, the strategic plan survey. That's due.
Yes, a strategic plan survey. It's on the website, but it's a deal where we're reaching out to everybody. We want parents, staff, we want community members, everybody to go on, fill out the survey. I think it takes 5 or 10 minutes. It doesn't take a long time. But again, we're doing a strategic plan. We're using researchers to gather this data. It's kind of tough because we're trying to keep ourselves out of it because we don't want a superintendent strategic plan. We don't want a district leadership strategic plan. We want a community. We want parents, staff, and community leaders
and
students to be part of this plan and talk about what do we want Lawton Public Schools to look like in 5 or 10 years. Some of the things people say, well, strategic plan, well, you're looking at what kind of classes you want to offer, how you want to move forward, what kind of opportunities. Obviously it goes into building. People never think about it because you passed a huge bond issue in 2017. Well, that was 4 years ago, now 5 years ago.
That's crazy.
2 or 3, you're 2-3 years away from passing another one, so you're only a year or two from starting the planning. So the strategic plan will do a lot of that, bringing people in to start talking about what are our capital needs, what kind of improvements do we want to make, what do we want to moving forward Lawton Public Schools to look like. So it's a very exciting time for us, but it's only as good as many people who put data in it. So everybody needs to own it and get on and enter their data and share their thoughts and opinions.
Now, when we come back from fall break, we will be distributing impact aid forms and information. So share what that looks like for our district again.
Well, in Oklahoma, schools are funded by tax dollars. Ad valorem taxes is what we get our building fund and our bond money, but the property taxes charged is where we get a lot of our funding. Well, obviously, we can't charge taxes on federal property because that's, the feds don't like paying state taxes. Well, and we don't want them paying taxes on Fort Sill, let's be real. But we have that property. Well, then impact aid is a payment we get in lieu of taxes from the federal government for land, including if our students live in Native American housing and they don't pay taxes on that, if they don't have to, if it's actually part of the Native Americans, obviously that's federal because they're their own sovereign nation. They don't pay taxes, so the federal government reimburses us. But we have to gather the data. So those forms will go out. Please fill them out. Tell us where you live, what you do. If there's the people who work there, there's just a lot of way. And we get over $4 million a year from this. Now, if we got all that we're supposed to get, it would be over $10 million a year. So we're still losing money there, and it's really a struggle because we work to improve our facilities and do our capital improvements. But we work on that. But please, everybody fill the form out. For every student that fills it out, we get more money, and that's our ultimate goal. So we can, we talked about this in our leadership meeting, how we're really changing our attitude and how it's starting to work. Where at the central office at Shoemaker, we want everybody to look at us and we want to say, what can I do for you today? How can I help you? And some of those things, and how you do that and how we provide resources so teachers can be successful in providing resources so students can be successful is we make sure we have the financing to do that. And this is one of the ways that we get financing to help help provide those resources. So, what's exciting thing is the next wave of educational change is virtual reality. So we're even looking at doing some of those things. So, our goal is to provide everything every teacher needs, every student needs, and create an environment that every student has the opportunity to be successful. And again, it takes money to do that. Shout out to our community who provides the money, our foundation who helps our teachers with money. But the way we can help raise money is make sure we do all of our paperwork and accurately get those counts.
And another great thing for families to look at about what's going on in the classroom is the Makerspace videos that we just pushed out.
Oh, yeah, it's going great, isn't it?
It's awesome, and the kids are having fun, and it's fun to watch them in action.
Yeah, and the ideal is school should be fun. And we want students engaged in learning, and we know we learn more when we're having fun or we're enjoying doing it or it's something we're interested in. And we want to give students a reason to want to come to school. And hopefully this inspires some of our younger students to get excited about getting into engineering and some of those fields that, hey, there's a lot of great jobs available for engineers right now that pay well if you got the education and the qualifications to do it. We know a lot of Lawton Public Schools students are capable of becoming engineers. We just got to make sure we're building that background and putting in that platform so that they can get that done. And hopefully we'll continue to do that so that students can have that opportunity.
Absolutely. After fall break, we're also going to celebrate Red Ribbon Week. I have to slow down when I say that.
And Chief talked to us about it. Our police dogs are going to be going around to each building, and in Red Ribbon Week, is always a thing that schools do all across the nation. During that week, it's just going to be, so make sure you look, because a lot of times there's different activities going on every day. So make sure you look, because you're going to be gone for a week, so don't let it surprise you on Monday. But that's exciting. Red Ribbon Week is always one of the most exciting times of the school, and elementaries will have a lot going. And it's a great time to get out and visit the elementary schools. So hopefully I don't get stuck in my office all week, and I can go visit some schools and see all the fun activities they're doing.
That's right. And then the Red Tulip will also take place simultaneously with that, and that's where our chief and the police department collect items for young mothers, and we help with DHS and those who have been impacted by drugs and making sure that our babies are taken
diapers
care.
And baby materials and things. I heard him talking about that. It's very exciting because they say that's really a successful program here. So a shout out to our Lawton Public Schools Police Department for partnering and making that a challenge they take on to help gather those resources to provide for people in need.
And before we leave, we want to share in November, we are having Remote Day for students the day after Veterans Day.
Yes.
Can you explain why that's different than virtual?
Well, and that's something that is, virtual is new, and we're trying to work on it, and we want to be prepared both ways. So a virtual day is a day when our teachers are at work, students are at home, students log on, and they basically go hour by hour. They should just log into that class and do assignments with that teacher during the day, almost keep their regular schedule as much as they could. That's per se what we call a virtual day. The remote days, we're going to be more like the snow day, where we know people are without electricity, our teachers can't get to work, they don't have all their, they may not have the internet connectivity to run it. So teachers, so you're at home that day as a student, you'll have a list of assignments, and you can complete them. It's more student paced that day, whereas a virtual day is teacher paced. So then when you get with staff, you just got to make sure you look at your schedule, because, you know, everybody is scheduled to work so many days. And if it's a day you're scheduled to work, whether it's a remote day or a virtual day, hourly employees have to work, you know, and teachers have to work that day as well, because they have to put the lessons on, grade the papers, and make sure the students did log on at some time to do the work. So they are a little different. But the ideal is in our calendar, we put both in there, because if for some reason we're out for a pandemic or something like that where teachers can come to work, it's just we don't want all the students in the school. We would want to be going virtual days, because we think that's a little better learning environment where it's teacher paced and the teachers are working hour by hour, keeping the same schedule with their students. But snow days, electricity out, you know, some of those things that are created by nature, we would go a remote day, and that would be where students work, you know, at their pace, because we know not every student has connectivity, although our team's doing a great job getting hotspots out. But if you don't have great cell service where you live, it doesn't matter if you have a hotspot. And even some of our teachers struggle with it. So the remote day is more to meet the needs there and not let them get home, you know, not let them get behind. You know, you'd hopefully never have a lot of remote days strung together, whereas the virtual days would be what you'd do over a long period of time. So, again, November 12th, the day after Veterans Day, we have a remote day. And that was more set up so that
we could practice that in case we have something during inclement weather.
You know, we'll say when we built the calendar, we tried to, you know, you always try to keep the calendar as close to the year before as you can, but when we put in the remote day, the virtual days, whether remote or virtual in, we wanted to strategically put them in. Well, since we're out on Veterans Day, the 11th, because of our high military population, it's a no work day. The 12th being a Friday, it seemed like a great day to have a remote day, because that would give parents 4-day weekends. Their students don't have to log on every hour on the hour. It would give teachers a little bit more flexibility for a 4-day weekend, because they could work. I mean, if they went
and they still did their stuff.
Like if they went somewhere where they were visiting, they just need to get to a computer sometime through the day and answer emails and questions they may have from students. So the remote day gives us a little more flexibility. So, you know, hopefully that confusion as time goes by and we do it on a regular basis, hopefully we get that where most everyone understands it.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to add before we head off into fall break?
Oh, it's going to be almost November when we come back.
Yeah, we have one more week.
Starting to get a little fall weather.
It is.
Football season's going well. We got 3 football games Friday night. I don't try to advertise for people, but I do. The Oklahoma Sports Network, you can, you know, like on Friday night for myself, I love it when I like to go to football. Those of you who don't know me well, I was a football coach for years, did it for 20-some years. I was a head football coach for 8 or 10 years. I love high school football. But it's really exciting to me that I can turn my phone on, my TV on, my iPad on, and I can watch all 3 teams when they play like on Friday. I can watch them all 3 play at the same time. So I'm excited this week. I know the Mac Noble game is going to be awesome, but I'm excited about all 3 games. So,
well, it's going to be a wonderful time for our families to spend some time together,
yes,
get caught up, do some fall cleaning, and great weather, not the severe weather we had this past week where we were not sure what we were happening.
And our teachers and faculty, our teachers and staff can recharge. So hopefully we come back with that renewed energy and push through to Christmas break, and we're excited about that because, you know, our teachers are doing such an incredible job. It is amazing when you walk around the schools to see their excitement and stuff. And, you know, there's just a little more stress that's put on. Teachers always is a stressful job, but there's a little more stress put on there when you got a pandemic going on and the numbers come out, and you know, the news today likes to exasperate things. The pandemic's serious, don't get me wrong, but it gets a little more negative. So shout out to our teachers and staff. I mean, this year, you know, knock on wood, it's been successful so far, and that's 100% on the people at the building level doing their job. Our job is to help them do that, provide them support, and as you would say, ask them, what can I do to help you? And that's our job. So a shout out to them for the great job they're doing, and hopefully they'll enjoy their break, and we'll look forward to seeing them all a week from Monday. And hopefully everybody is recharged and ready to go.
Would you like to give them our email if they have anything come up?
Sure. Don't ever forget info at lawtonps.org. We'd like to answer those and answer questions. And as we get closer to breaks and all the activities going on, feel free to send us questions. And those things are things we like to answer because, again, we want to try communication. That's what we do these podcasts for, is just to try to share as much information as we can. And we look for topics sometimes. So if there's somebody you want on as a guest, somebody you want to hear from, or somebody you want to come answer questions, let us know and we'll invite them to share with us. We have a couch.
That's right. We do. We have another setup. Mr. Hime, thank you so much for your time. Thank you guys for your time. Until then, enjoy your fall break. Be well, stay safe, and make positive impacts. Have a good one.